Good day, welcome to Honey Walia Shows. I'm your host Sonal Fool. Today we are going to talk about the upcoming city election. Today we have with us Amrarjeet Sohi with us, who is a mayoral candidate. In past he has been a city councillor, he has been a federal minister. He came to Canada in 1981, in 1980s. When he came, he was young. He's still young by heart. He learned how to speak English here. He worked in the ETS department too. From there, he progressed to a city councillor, then to federal minister. He took a gap and now he's running back. He's coming back as a candidate for our mayor, City of Mayor. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's nice to see you again and your team, as well as through you, talk to your audience. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. So, Amrarjeet, like now the city councillor election are coming in few months. There are about 10 mayor candidates. Could you tell us a little bit more about how your campaign is going?
Our campaign is going really well. We launched our campaign on May 17th, so it's been more than 2 months now. We have quite a few lawn signs in front of people's houses, the fence signs. We have close to 400 volunteers who have signed up to help us with the campaign, and fundraising is going well. We have started door knocking now, making phone calls as well. Before the COVID restrictions were lifted, we were not door knocking because we wanted to respect the guidance from our health authorities. Now that COVID restrictions are lifted, we are able to go talk to people at the doorsteps. More and more community events are happening. We held our first community barbecue on July 24th. We had close to 700 people attend that barbecue. So momentum is building, and I'm very proud of the team and all the volunteers who are working on the campaign. So, things are looking up, but a lot of work still needs to be done, and we're working hard.
All the best wishes. That's the only thing I can say at the moment because the election is coming. Mr. Sohi, as you mentioned about your barbecue event, which was a successful event in South Side, but you are doing tomorrow also in North Side. Would you mind to tell our viewers what it contained, what the timings will be, and everything?
So tomorrow we are holding another barbecue in the Newton Community Hall, which is just off 121 Avenue and 54th Street. Again, the idea is to bring people together, have a conversation with them about their aspirations about the city, what kind of city they envision Edmonton to be, and how my vision for the city aligns with their vision, and get input from them. So as we develop our policies, that input is actually reflected in those policies.
So, Mr. Sohi, now we are talking about your vision, right? Like if you are elected, because if you're elected as a mayor, you have a vast experience of city politics, including federal politics, right? You have experience is vast. So when we talk about the recent events in Canada, or especially in Edmonton also, the discrimination, violence based on religion, hijab, LGBTQ issues, like where that people have been discriminated and targeted. Yeah. What your thoughts are, and when you're a mayor, how you will be handling it?
My vision for Edmonton is that Edmonton belongs to everyone. Edmonton for all. That's the slogan of our campaign. So in my Edmonton, there is no room for discrimination. There's no room for racism or any sort of phobia, whether it's attack on Muslim communities, whether it's there are attacks on LGBTQ community, or anyone else. We are a community of communities. People in Edmonton have come from all over the world, with the exception of indigenous communities whose land we're building our lives, and indigenous communities that have been historically marginalized and have faced a lot of trauma because of colonization, the residential schools, and the ongoing racism that they have to face. So I envision an inclusive Edmonton where everyone feel that they belong, where everyone feel that they have the ability to contribute. So one of the things that we have announced, the first policy that we announced was to develop an action plan to end hatred and hate violence in Edmonton. And the plan calls for a 100-day action, which is that if I get elected, on the first city council meeting, I will bring forward a motion directing the city administration to develop an action plan that will be implemented within 100 days to empower communities to tackle violence and tackle hatred and tackle fear and discrimination that so many Edmontonians, particularly racialized communities, Muslim women have faced over the last number of months.
My second question is, when we talk about, you have been in politics, you have been in business also. Whenever we are doing something, we need money.
Yeah.
And when we have seen the recent audits about the city finances, it has not been given a very positive vibes, right? Like, it's a lot of problems are there. And now we are coming from the pandemic too. City has, no money kind of thing. How you will be handling all those things?
I come from a very modest background. My wife and I, we started as a working class. I worked for Edmonton Transit. My wife worked in a meat packing plant at the same time going to school and raising our daughter. We made tough choices in our lives, right? We have not taken vacations because we wanted to save enough money to send our daughter to university, right? We did not buy a new car for a number of years because we wanted to save enough to put it on a mortgage to buy a house, right? So I know what it takes to make tough choices. And for me, City Hall should be as efficient, as effective as possible. And we should be getting the value for the money that we are giving to taxpayers. The city services that city provides, from transit, from policing to fire to community services, are very important services, and we need to make sure those services are quality public services done by people who are getting decent wage, decent benefits, and a dignity at work. But the resources that we're collecting from citizens, those are hard-earned money that people are paying to the city to run those programs and services, and there should not be any waste. So I will bring my lived experience of stretching the dollar and in a way that getting more done with it. At the same time, making sure that we are not compromising the quality public services that Edmontonians rely on.
And now we are talking about, you did talk about the transit and the road services, right? Is a recent conversation going on when they have changed the bylaws of the speed limit, going from 50 to all over 40 kilometers. And now if you see even in Millwoods too, we have signs where 60 kilometers are or 50 kilometers are. So how you think it will be implemented? Because the date is coming, they will start laying the fines, but the signs are still saying 60 kilometers or 50 kilometers.
So the goal of any changes should be focused on improving safety. Safety of those who drive and safety of those who are using the roadway system, whether they're walking, pedestrians, or people cycling on their bikes, or any other use that is out there. So the goal is to improve safety, and city has an ambitious plan to reduce fatalities, deaths from collisions to zero. I think the challenge that I see is that there's a lack of consistency, right? I think we need consistency, that people know what the speed limit is. In some areas 30, some areas 40, then it's go to 50, then it goes to 60. I think that is where people get confused. And they get, okay, where am I driving at 30 here, or am I driving at 40 here, right? So I think there has to be an education campaign that tells Edmontonians what the speed limit is, and really focus on educating them on why we are doing this. The ultimate goal is to make sure that our streets are safe for everyone. And we need to have a consistent approach in a way that people understand what the expectations are when they're on the road.
You're watching Honey Walia shows, and I'm your host Sonal Fool. Today we have Amrarjeet Sohi with us, who's a mayoral candidate, and we are talking about his vision if he is elected as a mayor of Edmonton, what he will be doing. Mr. Sohi, you did mention about the safety, right? Mm-hmm. When we're talking about the safety, clear and consistent information or knowledge has to be there, and I 100% agree with you. Now we're talking about that when we talk about safety, environment comes along. The plan, solar plan, taking a green land in the city, downtown city with the river valley, what your thoughts are? Can we use some other places? Yes, solar power is good, but can we use any other place instead of, compromising downtown or river valley?
So when I look at environmental sustainability, for me, climate change and the changes that are happening in our physical environment, biodiversity, as equally important. And River Valley is our jewel. River Valley is the reason that a lot of people decide to live here, because it adds to their quality of life that is not available in many other cities, because we have the largest and the longest urban park right in the middle of our city. So we need to protect it. But we also need to make it accessible for people to use so everyone can enjoy it. And enjoy in a way that you want to go out for a walk and you want to grab a cup of coffee. You want to sit down on a bench and in a park and enjoy yourself and relax. All that has to happen and should be happening. We also need to make sure that the infrastructure within the river valley is also upgraded and kept to standards that is safe and convenient for people to use. Right? On climate change. There's no denial. Anyone who denies that climate is changing is not living in the reality, and we need to make sure that cities are part of the solution. Our federal government has set a target of being net zero emissions by 2050, but that is not possible if communities and cities are not part of those conversations and solutions, because majority of the emissions come from cities, whether it's transportation, whether it's buildings, whether it's the overall built environment or what we consume, and the industrial emissions because of the Edmonton being an industrial hub for northern Alberta. So solutions cannot be found and cannot be effective if cities are not part of the solution. And we can turn that crisis into jobs for green economy, investing into new technologies, whether it's solar, whether geothermal or wind, or blue hydrogen. So much potential to create jobs in that area, or petrochemical sector. And I think where I come in is that I have the experience, I have the connections, and I have the mature leadership that is necessary to pull everyone together to tap into those opportunities.
So I'm asking you this question because your expertise in federal, right, and provincial also, and city also. I'm talking about kind of an education system, right? Like whatever, being a safety person, right? That's my profession too. We have been trained in petrochemical, construction. Now, if we go to the solar or renewable energies, as your expertise in all those things, federal, provincial, how you think the city council or city politics or city departments, how we can help the people to change their occupations, going more in renewable energies and using their knowledge?
Oil and gas has been a big part of Alberta's economy, and it will continue to be a significant part of Edmonton and Alberta's economy. But we also need to look for opportunities to diversify so that there are long-term sustainable, green, clean jobs available for Edmontonians. And that's where I see the potential of Edmonton being a manufacturing hub for pharmaceuticals. Edmonton being a place where you can actually decarbonize your industry to help meet climate change goals. And the trillions of dollars that are being invested to fight climate change, that money, part of that money should be invested in Edmonton because we have the solution. We have the workforce that you have talked about. We have the educational facilities like University of Alberta, NAIT, McCune, Norquest that are world class. And we're training people. We have the know-how. Now we need the capital to be invested in our city into those areas that we can not only create jobs, but at the same time make our environment more cleaner and play our role in tackling climate change.
So, sir, my next question to you is now because, last years you have been living in Edmonton for a long time. It was a lot of confusion about cutting the grass, snow removal. It has been big issues, right? When you are elected as a mayor with having a shortage of money, and as I agree with you, we have to use money for real value, or how you will be handling those issues?
Snow removal, grass cutting, making sure our communities are clean. Those are the basic things that every municipality should do. So for me, those are given. We got to do them, and we got to do them in an effective way that citizens can move around and they can take pride in the community that they live in, right? So there's no ifs and buts about that, right? And we have resources to do that. You pay property taxes, I pay property taxes, all of us pay property taxes. But the challenge is that the property taxes that we pay, 30% of that tax is actually gone to the province. Province takes their money away from us and we get no value for their money. How many services are you getting from the province to pick up your garbage, to keep your community clean from garbage? Or how much of those 30% that we pay to the province comes back to get us snow removed, right? Or nothing, right? So we're not getting the value for the money that we're sending to the province in form of property taxes, right? I think we need to have a better arrangement that property taxes should remain with the city so we can do more with them and make them as effective as possible, at the same time improve services that citizens need.
I agree with you. One thing, because money, if we are paying the taxes, if we are not able to get those money back and use it for the city improvement of what we need, is kind of lost. But I think in that area, when you're elected mayor, with your past experience, you will be able to getting money back or the value back.
When I was a federal minister, I negotiated 21 bilateral agreements with every province and territory in this country, delivering close to $60 billion of infrastructure funding. So I know how to talk to provinces. I know how to talk to other players and partners. I have extensive experience leading two major economic portfolios, infrastructure and natural resources, as a federal minister. So I have done big things. Trans Mountain Pipeline Expansion project that's near and dear to your heart, right? And you talk about that project so often. Important project for Alberta and Canada, but very controversial, but I got it done. LRT expansion to all parts of the city. I started advocating for Millwoods Line when I got elected in 2007. Now it's being done. I secured $1.2 billion to get LRT to the West End into Blatchford, and I'm committed to continue to expand that at the project. I have done big things because I believe that when we work together, when we work together to seek solutions in a collaborative way, trying to build consensus, you can get big things done. And I have shown the way to do it, and I will continue to make sure that if I get elected, if Edmontonians give me the honor to represent them, I will lead with that kind of collaborative approach of pulling community together to get things done.
Mr. Sohi, I 100% agree with you. As a team, when you build a team or you have a team or you are a team player, you can get things more smoothly, you can get better results. So now, my next question is, and I think a lot of people have asked you during your campaign too, we are coming out of pandemic now. and the economy is not good. Job markets are still getting better. The small businesses, non-profit organizations, or the people who basically like magicians, people who like singers, like they're based on the restaurant industries, or how you will be helping them to come back.
There has been a lot of people who have been impacted by COVID-19, and this pandemic has been horrible. We have lost loved ones to this illness. Thousands of people got sick. We lived in isolation for almost 18 months. And that is leaving emotional scars, psychological scars, and mental health issues that we will continue to face over the next number of years. We need a leader that doesn't divide us, that doesn't pull us apart. We need to heal together. The better way to heal is to work together, right? And that's the approach I will bring. And I know so many small businesses that have struggled. I have friends in the restaurant industry who couldn't make ends meet for almost 18 months. I have my friends who are in the arts and culture sector. They couldn't make a living because everything got shut down, right? I know people in the hospitality industry, in the hotel industry, who barely made ends meet because everything got shut down. Their vacancy rate was almost 90%, in some cases 100%, right? So those people have struggled. And we need to give them the necessary resources and support to bring activity back, right? That we create that economic growth. We create those jobs that people need. We only do that when we work together, not work against each other. And that's the leadership style that I will bring. City council, city administration, Edmonton community working together with the province, working together with the federal government, working together with the regional partners, Northern Alberta partners, building that stronger alliance, really making a stronger case that economic growth and jobs are the foundation of a strong community. And if we don't have the jobs and the prosperity, then we will not be able to sustain the kind of quality of life that Edmontonians take pride in.
You're watching Honeywalia shows, and we are talking to mayoral candidate Amrarjeet Sohi. Mr. Sohi, I have another question for you because, it has been in a debate. It has a lot of pros and cons, the bike lanes.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts? Are people are favoring it also, and other group does not agree with it? It's not balancing. Yeah. And the business, sometime west side, they said their business has affected, communication has affected. Downtown, they say muting has become problem because it become one lane. What your thoughts are on it?
Well, we are a big city. We are close to 1 million people now, and over the next few decades, our population will continue to grow to be close to 2 million people, right? So in a big city like ours, we need transportation choices. People who want to drive should be able to drive safely and easily. People who want to walk should be able to do that safely and easily. And people who want to bike and cycle, they should be able to do that safely and easily. What we need is quality infrastructure. What we need is safe infrastructure that everyone feel that they can use it in a way that gives them the choice to get around. And I believe in choice, and we need to make sure that that choice is safe and that choice allows people to get around in a convenient way.
Mr. Sohi, you did mention about the job creation, right? And then you did mention with your past experience and you being a team player and your knowledge about creating a diversity and attracting the investment also, right? Which creates a job, which creates an opportunity to improve. About the gondola, it has also been in a debate because what happened if we get them, it will create a job opportunities, it will create a tourism, but what happened if they leave us alone? They just left everything behind and they just disappear. What your thoughts are on it?
Gondola is one project, right? What I want to focus on is how do we make doing business in Edmonton easy, convenient, and affordable. We have announced a number of policies. One policy where we have announced is that we will develop guaranteed timelines for permitting and like inspections. So whenever you apply to get work done on your building or your house, on your commercial place, or you're building a new building, you apply for a permit. That permit should be given to you in a guaranteed amount of time. If city is unable to do that, then we should be holding our administration and city council to account. Why are they unable to do that? Same thing with inspections. A friend of mine opened up a restaurant in southeast part of the city, and when we got there for the opening ceremony, he was still waiting for a fire inspection to take place, and he had to wait another week. So that's 1 week of lost productivity.
That is true.
Jobs and opportunities and growth for their business. That is unacceptable. We need to change that. So that's number one policy that we have announced. Another policy that we have announced to make business easy, convenient, and affordable is one-stop shop, where you go to a place, you need the services, that's the place you go to. You need to set up a business, that's the place you go to. You want to expand your business, that is the place you go to. And role of that place is to give you all the necessary support you need and be your advocate to set up your business, be your voice to every other department in the city. So that's the second initiative that we have announced. I believe that will make it easy for people to do and grow business and attract more investment. Somebody wants to invest in the city, we should embrace that and allow them to grow here, and that office will allow us to do that. And the third one is the creation of a permanent body of business leaders from the arts and culture sector, from the nonprofit sector, from small businesses, from restaurant owners, to have a permanent body that will work with city council and city administration on an ongoing basis to make sure that we are removing barriers for business to do business.
Mr. Sohi, what message, last in the end that we are come, what message would you like to give to our viewers?
What I would like to say to everyone watching your show is that my vision for Edmonton is that Edmonton is a place for everyone. All of us should be able to thrive here, find a decent, middle class, well-paying job that give you enough to feed your family, have a healthy lifestyle, save enough for your retirement, and put your kids to a university or college, and you live a comfortable life. We want to grow our economy, that small businesses can thrive, that medium-sized businesses who want to grow or can grow in an easy way. We want to protect our environment, that we're leaving a cleaner place for future generations to come. And we want to build a city where everyone feel that they're safe, regardless of our culture, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or sexuality, whatever differences that we have. Edmonton is a place where everyone should be able to feel that this is their city and safety is paramount, and there's no room for racism, discrimination, or any form of hatred or violence against any Edmontonian. And that's the vision I have, and that's the vision that I'm fighting to build. And I need your support. I need the support of everyone watching this show. I would not have been able to be where I am today without your support. And I mean that. And I would not be able to win this election if I don't have the support of the people. So I encourage everyone to look at the website, sohi.ca, and please have your say and support us whichever way you can.
Thank you, Mr. Sohi. Thank you for taking your valuable time to come and talk to us about your vision and give your message to our viewers. You're watching Honey Walia Show, and I really echo what Mr. Sohi is saying. We need a change, and we cannot have a change unless we do our homework, learn about what the project is coming on, what our mayor candidates, their views are, and how they are going to help us to move forward. So I encourage everyone, please do your homework, come out, ask questions, and on the election dates, we cannot have a change unless we come out and vote and participate. Keep watching Honey Walia shows. I'm your host, Sonal Phul. Till we meet again, stay safe. Have a good day.